Sunday was there in between, and it was, I must say that, in any during this journey of mine, what I have seen is, it was like all the training way for the teachers, but this was one of the thing which I liked, was that was training for the principals, which is need of the hour, right, Shweta ma'am? Right? And this training has been a boon for all of us, and I'm sure you all also are really learning. I'll just present my screen, just give me a second, and we'll start with this. This journey has been very, very inspirational for me, and it will be the same for you all also. I'm 100% sure of it. Just give me a second and start with it. Yeah, you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
We can see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is an online training on pedagogical leadership for principals, phase 2. Ma'am has already introduced me, so I'll go ahead with the next slide. This annual pedagogical program, which has been launched by CBSE, first of all, I would like to thank them for giving us an opportunity to all the principals to improve upon. We already know that a good quality education is a strong foundation for nation building, social and economic progress of the country. And the school leadership is said to be the second most important factor for improving student learning. Many books have been written to guide teachers, but hardly any work was done on the principal's leadership. Request was made from Anita Karwal ma'am, the then chairperson of CBSE, currently working with Ministry of Education and Literacy, Government of India, to NIPA, which was actively pursued by the present chairman of CBSE, Shri Manoj Ahuja ji. And the outcome was the Pedagogical Leadership, a handbook for leading learning in schools, by Principal Investigator Dr. N. Maithili, Assistant Professor NIPA, and working group which included 6 principals of CBSE affiliated school. So we finally got this book, which is focusing on leading learning in schools. And it's a humble request to each one of you, please read each and every page. Please, please, please. Because every page, every sentence, and every word is really good, and that's going to help us out. The uniqueness of this handbook, if I talk about, is talking in terms of innovation, is aligned with the new education, the national education policy. It provides a comprehensive framework on school leadership, addresses the learning deficit among the children, equips principals as pedagogical leader, which is very important. It was just not administrator or manager, but the pedagogical leaders. It uses a non-traditional approach by emphasizing on in-school teacher professional development, and serves as a ready reckoner for principals. So it's a good handbook, and that's why it's a handbook which helps us to really become much better day by day. The structure of the handbook, the 4 things are there which are very important. Concept of school leadership, the part 1, which is perspective. The framework for pedagogical leadership, which is focusing on knowledge. The annual pedagogical part 3, which is focusing on application aspect. And the last one, tutorials for practice, which is practice, practice, and practice. I'm sure you must have gone through all these 3, but I would request you to go for these tutorials for practice. Lots of links, lots of videos are there, which are really going to help you for conducting workshop for your teachers, conducting for in-house training, which COE is always focusing on. So please go for that as well. The pedagogy of the practitioner, what will be your approach? Your assumptions, beliefs, notions. As a leader, you already have. But the thing is, where your school is today, we have to look at it. Where you would like to be in terms of student learning, which we need to see, and the time frame and the processes you will employ. And this is what this book focuses on. What you need to do: read and learn, step back and reflect, practice and self-assess, and visualize and improve. Very, very important for all of us. It can be a book which is useful for self-learners. It is also a book which is useful for resource person. So the thing is, self-learners, you as a self-learners can go through this book and learn a lot. And when you become a resource person for your teachers, for your staff, you can use it. So please see to it that you read the book. The part one, which is focusing on concept of school leadership. It focuses on the functions and leadership styles, directing others, influencing others, working with others, empowering others. Dear principals, we all are doing this, and we need to be very sure, are we performing these functions properly or not? The core functions of the school leadership: influencing others, directing others, empowering others, and working with others. And this is what we do. And the details are given, wherein we look into how to direct others, how to influence others, how to work with others, and how to empower others. To start with, empowering ourselves. Here, the four types of leadership in detail is explained: responsive leadership, responsible leadership, network leadership, and inclusive leadership. So I would request that each one of you need to check and introspect whether I'm having these qualities of leadership in me or not. The way we talk about a leader: leadership for understanding, leadership of action, and leadership for reflection. Very, very important. And this is the way we need to go for it, right? We have the direct effect on the student, directly affecting the student. It could be indirect effect through the teachers. We are affecting the student through the teachers. There is another way, the student affecting us, the reciprocal effect. And the last but not the least, the inverse effect, wherein the student learning affects the school leadership. So the four types of effect. Part 2 is focusing on pedagogical leadership framework for leading learning, wherein we have this. And this, the second part of the book, is actually the crux. And that is why you can see this over here, the earth, wherein we talk in terms of layers, the descriptors, and the actionables. And under the actionables also, we do have the sub-actionables as well. So a request for you all to please mute your mics, all of you, please. So focus on the layer aspect, descriptors, actionables, and sub. And I'm sure now you have worked on your APP. You are very thorough with the layer part, the descriptor part, and the actionable part. We talk in terms of the framework within which we are going to lead, right? So layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3. Setting the direction for the school, practicing pedagogical leadership, and assuring student outcome. And under each layer, we have the 5, like in the layer 1, when we talk about setting a direction, we need to set a direction for the school. And for that, under this layer 1, we have 5 descriptors, and each descriptor has an actionable. Similarly, layer 2, which is the layer 2 which you have worked on. When you were making your APP, dear principals, you have worked on the layer 2. And layer 2 has 6 descriptors: engaging in teachers' professional development, initiating innovations, leading teaching learning process, developing a learning culture, building an inclusive culture, and becoming and being a self-aware leader. Each of these descriptors have the actionables, right? Like the first one has the 4 actionables: empowering teachers, promoting reflective, creating opportunities, ascertaining the needs. And under that, we were supposed to do the sub actionables: initiating innovation in the school, the second descriptor. It has 3 actionables. The third one, leading teaching learning process, it has 4 actionables. The fifth one, developing learning culture, it has 5 descriptors, and then the 5 actionables, and along with that, the sub actionables. Then you have building an inclusive culture, which again has the 4 actionables. And the last one, but not the least, becoming and being a self-aware leader, which is the need of the our principles. We need to be self-aware. Where are we? What we need to do? Then only we can make our school function properly, right, and efficiently. The major areas of learning outcome is explained in the layer 3. Would request you to go into the details of the layer 3 as well, because that assures the ultimate, and that is student learning. The reason being, school stands for that. School is being, there for making the student learning effective. So please go into the details of that. And then we have the attainment and progress. against across all the schools. And the last but not the least, the 21st century skills. See to it, cross check, introspect that whether all our students have these 21st century skills or not. These 21st century skills are given by OECD, UNESCO, and we need to check that whether the school is able to provide the platform so that these 21st century skills can be imbibed in our students. Please see to it that you work on this and you see to it that you give a right type of atmosphere in your school, right? The human values, happiness and well-being, and the life skills. Very, very important. So I'll just conclude with this. This is the book which I expect you all to read page by page, every sentence and every word. So please do that. Now we will stop over here and I'll stop my presentation over here. Even after making the APP, it's a humble request. Please read every page of this book. It's a boon for us, right? Thank you so much for having patiently listening to me, and an humble request that you will make it a point that today itself you will read half of the book at least. So tomorrow at least when you are there with me, you will be totally well versed with the things which are there in the book. Yes?
Yeah,
right?
definitely, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Very nice presentation, ma'am. You have taken the efforts to, once recap the entire thing in that handbook. We have gone through these 3 days, but, once again, you made us go through it again as well. Thank you so much. Thank you.